Hello everyone, praise be Jesus and Mary. My name is Ira Bliss M. Election. I recently finished my master's degree in Lord's College of Cagayan de Oro and keeping my hopes up to march down during the graduation day this coming May, I suppose. I am currently connected at Balingwan College as a PE instructor with its first year of operation, which I find it very challenging. At this point of time, let me share to you a glimpse of my study. So, the title of my study is Leg Length and Weight, its implication to exercise intensity. The reason why I conducted this study is that in my 4 years of experience in teaching physical fitness, the safety is the number one priority. And with that, inclusivity has to be emphasized during the execution since not all students have the same body measurements to actually reach the bare minimum of the test. The common error here is using the one-size-fits-all assessment. In this context, the students are required to achieve the standardized test without observing their individual differences. The gap of the study focuses on the little to no importance to exercise intensity in planning for practical assessments before the implementation. Fitness assessment disparities will persist due to individual differences in body structure and anthropometry, which are not well understood and considered in exercise physiological responses. The exercise intensity of a person is tested in 3-minute step test, in which on the other hand must be the indicator if a person can achieve the test or not. According to the study of Podstowski in 2015, the said method is commonly used as a general assessment to cater the large number of students, which apparently oppose to equity in giving scores based on their performances. Now let's proceed to the methods. Okay, so the method used in the study is the descriptive correlational design in order to describe the influence of leg length and weight to the exercise intensity using the 3-minute step test. This method showed the relationship between the two independent variables, the leg length and weight, to the exercise intensity. The data collected is continuous in nature since there hasn't been a study or a concept that shows the category of the height of a person. That is why when we calculate our body mass index, height is included in the equation in relation to their weight. This design is used to objectively interpret the data based on the performance of the participants. The performance of the participants were scaffolded by the different equipment. The data were gathered using the weighing scale, measuring tape, and metronome. The weighing scale is used to get their weight. The measuring tape is used to get their height, and the metronome was used to regulate the number of beats per minute in performing the step test, using the rhythm step, up, up, and down, down. In line with this, the results of the study were described using the percentage of heart rate reserved, which entails the zone of exercise intensity based on the anthropometry measurements of leg length and weight. The correlational research, as mentioned by Curtis in 2016, it generates findings that can be used for decision-making towards improving the health-related activities. Now let's move on to the results and discussion. The result shows that there is a positive association among the variables, the leg length, the weight, and the exercise intensity. This result is proved using the linear regression model that entails a high correlation coefficient of 0.934. As shown by the data, the two factors collectively account for around 87% of the variance in exercise intensity, as indicated by the adjusted Pearson value of 0.871. So, there is a high correlation of the two variables combining them together to the exercise intensity. Additionally, it is also indicated that there is no random variation in the effect of leg length and weight on exercise intensity. As we can see, the analysis of variance reinforces that the model has a significant value of 561.04 and 0.001, which the study concludes that the hypothesis is rejected. The analysis provides evidence that leg length and weight are substantial predictors of exercise intensity as measured by the 3-minute step test. Another findings show that there is a significant inverse correlation between the leg length and exercise intensity, meaning that the data between the two is indirect. The leg length has a standardized coefficient of negative 0.417, a t-value that is deemed highly significant at negative 13.63, and a p-value that is less than 0.001. This suggests that individuals with longer legs more likely experience a decrease in exercise intensity. This result shows an example to the study of Hazari and colleagues in 2021 and Anderson and colleagues in 2020 that explained the concept of range of motion, which stated that low effort and high accuracy operations require less ROM or range of motion, which means that the increased range of motion of longer legs enables one to traverse a greater distance per stride while exerting less effort. Another study by O'Brien et al. In 2018, they identified that leg length is a critical determinant of exercise efficiency, which has the same result in the study of Salamuddin et al. In 2014, that there is an association between greater leg length and reduced energy expenditure in females. Furthermore, it has been established through the study of Cava et al. In 2017 that persons who are overweight exhibit diminished muscle endurance and performance in weight-bearing exercises. Now for the conclusions or recommendations, this study calls for instructors to tailor activities that are not only effective but also more suitable. It would be hard for those students to be graded in such fitness tests that requires anthropometric measurements that they don't have. So, why not modify the test to cater their individual differences for safety and equity? The study highlights the relevance of an individualized approach in physical education and fitness evaluation, advocating for methodologies that value diverse physical characteristics and constructive environment for fitness assessment and physical education. The implications of the study's results are substantial in practical settings, specifically within the domains of physical education courses and fitness assessment situations. It may be a great help to teachers as well as the students to use their fitness perception prior to engaging themselves in activities that are not suitable for them. This may be used as a reference to support such perception to advocate safety precautions during the fitness assessment. In addition to leg length and weight, which determine exercise intensity, other interrelated factors like a person's age, health, diet, and medical history may also have an impact on their EPR. The study has provided valuable insights into the teaching of fitness tests among the students. It has revealed that some commonly used strategies by instructors during physical education classes may not be appropriate, often chosen for their convenience or due to time constraints. This can lead to a one-size-fits-all assessment, which statistically presents challenges for many students due to their individuality. For this reason, I've come up to understand the importance of inclusivity in striving for quality education. Before concluding my presentation, I would like to express my gratitude to Lourdes College of Cagayan de Oro for the opportunity to learn and excel in our field. Special thanks as well to our mentor, Sir Oliver Gomez, for sharing his expertise in research, which opens our minds to transformative views in PE. In all our endeavors, may we all seek to glorify God. Thank you so much, everyone, and may all of us be blessed. Thank you.